Watch this clip of Bassem Youssef, who is an Egyptian-born comedian who's been parading around on media networks since October 7th, claiming to be an expert analyst of the Israeli-Arab conflict. And here he is being asked by Konstantin Kisin of Trigonometry what he would do if he was Israel's prime minister on October the 8th. And as you'll see, he dodges the question, or will say, well, I wouldn't have done what Israel did to lead up to that point. And he's asked, well, what alternatives do you have? What do you present as a different path Israel could take? And his answers, or lack of answer, is extremely revealing. And we'll talk a bit about what's really going on with his mindset. But first, have a watch of this revealing clip.
Hold on. You're acting as if I'm justifying anything.
No,
I'm not.
The question is very weird. What could Israel have done as if there has no other choice?
No, what could? What October 7th has happened, right? It's happened. What should Israel have done in your opinion? That's all I'm asking.
Not this?
Okay, but not this, okay? What should they have done?
Not this?
That's a negative. I'm asking what, in the positive sense, what they should have done. How should they have reacted?
My answer didn't change. Not this.
But that isn't.
They are murderers and they are violating international law. They are violating every single international piece of law, UN resolutions. And then you're asking me, what else should they have done? I don't understand the question.
No. I'm not asking what else they should have done. I'm saying, if a country is attacked in this way, how should it react?
Maybe they stop doing what other people to do it, so they will not be attacked in this way.
Okay, so you think that the Prime Minister of Israel, in the situation he's in, when X number of his own civilians have been slaughtered, is in a position to say, okay, we'll just stop doing whatever we're doing. We're not going to respond in any way. You think that you should do that?
No. Let's let him continue killing. I mean, your question is like you're going in and you are nuking a whole country because you've been attacked. Like, what else would I do?
But hold on.
What else?
But this is, I mean, look at history. Like, would you say that what the Allies did in Germany in World War II?
The Dresden conversation.
It's not the Dresden conversation.
Yeah.
We dropped 50 Hiroshimas a month on Germany for a year and a half.
And that's good.
Who said it's good?
This is the thing. It's like this is because this is the same talking points of Israel. Look what the Allies did in Dresden. What did it's just the fact that like something horrific that happened in the past does not justify what you're doing in the future.
No,
now.
I'm not saying that something horrific happened in the past justifies what we're doing in the future. And by the way, I'm surprised about the way this conversation is going, because before we started, you were like, I'm a big fan of you guys. And I really am keen to have an honest conversation.
Because the question is very infuriating. The question when you ask people, if you're in Israel's position, what you should have done.
Yeah.
Again, you are asking me to quantify the reaction of the atrocity that's been happening all through. And what else did you...
No.
Like, if your only choice is killing children and killing unarmed civilians, and show me one war where 80% of a place were destroyed, 50% of the victims were children, and 100% of the population were displaced, and then you tell me you don't have any other choice?
Fine. So tell us what Israel should have done over these last 70 years. What would you have done differently? What should Israel have done differently? Why won't he answer that? But it's infuriating to be asked these questions. We'll see why it's really infuriating in a sec, but let's see how they continue to exchange words.
I didn't say any of those things. All I'm saying to you is there is a reality of where we are, right? And whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, I don't like it, you don't like it, right? But it's not going to get solved by pretending that Israel is in a position.
And how could it be solved?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay, good.
But you say not like this, and you don't give a positive.
Well, I have
vision.
no idea either. But what is happening? Israel is a rogue.
Well, that's a fair answer.
Israel is a rogue. Israel is a criminal, is a war criminal.
Okay.
And has been getting away with murder and genocide for years, and the international community and international world is letting it get away with murder and genocide every single day, and then we are left with, sorry to say, useless questions like, what's the proportionate response? What else can I do if it's your country? What you have done?
I didn't ask.
No, you asked what if you were Netanyahu, what would you have done?
Yeah.
And I would tell you,
That's
if I was
question.
Netanyahu and the whole world is letting me do whatever I want, I would do it.
I didn't say if you're Netanyahu.
So here you see what's going on, and you can watch the full interview if you want to. But what's basically happening is Bassem is saying, I don't know what Israel could do differently. I don't know, but not this. Right, but what else? If you don't have an alternative, then you have nothing to say. But he says, well, not this. He doesn't want to offer his alternative. And on top of that, he says Israel is a rogue, terror, genocidal state. So you can only come to one conclusion, which is that he is adopting the exact same line that the Arabs living in Judea and Samaria and Gaza have adopted since even before Israel's founding, which is that there's nothing that a Jewish state could do that would be acceptable in their eyes, because their problem is not with military retaliation. It is not with blockades. It is not with taking control of territories and land. The issue is a sovereign Jewish state in that tiny sliver of land. That's what it comes down to. It's Israel's great original sin. And he doesn't want to say what alternative he has. And the Palestinians, so-called Palestinians, haven't done so either. At least when they're trying to have polite conversations. Because the agenda has always been, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Free of what? Free of a sovereign Jewish state. And that's why he doesn't want to say it. That's why he has nothing. That's why he's so infuriated by the question. Because Israel is in and of itself a problem. And it's insane, because every single act of military aggression that the Jewish state has had to engage in has been in reaction to hostility, to offensive action by surrounding Arab militias. The great displacement, the terrible Nakba that he talks about, which, by the way, was really just about the creation of the state and the defeat of the surrounding Arab countries. But the terrible displacement that he surely laments that took place happened when the Arab militias and countries engaged in a war with Israel. Didn't happen when Israel was created. People often think Israel pushed all the Arabs out and that's how they start. No, they actually wanted Arabs to live in a Jewish state. Evidence of which being that 20% of Israel's population is still Israeli Arab, because those are the ones that weren't displaced and didn't leave or didn't run away in fear of coming conflict. But it happened, the displacement happened in Israel's reaction to the offensive measures of the surrounding Arab militias, who were simply not content with a Jewish state. They couldn't say you stole the Arab land. The Jews had maintained a presence there since the last sovereign state that was there 2,000 years ago, the Judean kingdom. And then Jews maintained a connection there, and then slowly en masse started to return to their homeland en masse in the 1800s and legally purchase land, no great displacement. And then once they were there in very large numbers, it was agreed in the international community they'd create two states. Jews said, okay, fine. That's, it is already Jewish territory and Jewish land, but if that's the way you want to make it work, okay, we said we'll try and make that work. But they never wanted to. The hostility has been, even before Israel's founding, they've always just been against this idea of a Jewish state in the heart of the Middle East, despite having 52 Muslim states, 22 Arab countries. Nope, can't have one. And that's what Bassem doesn't want to say. And that's why they always dodge the issue. And Israel's terrible, Israel's this and that. But what do you actually want? Specify, tell us what you want, and they won't. Or at least they won't in these nice, polite conversations, because they're worried it might be seen as a bit too outrageous. But on the streets and in the protests and marches, they tell us exactly what they want. And they're very clear about that. And those who say, oh, well, I'm all for two states, but every defensive measure Israel has to do to protect herself, like, for example, engaging in a weapons blockade in Gaza. They say, well, what do you mean you gave Gaza away, but you put a blockade on? Why? We put the blockade in because you elected a government that was sending rockets over to us every day. Are we not allowed to defend ourselves? So if they say, well, you can't do that, you're basically saying Israel doesn't have a right to exist. Because if we can't defend ourselves against such threats, you're basically saying you don't have a right to exist. And when he talks about Israel committing a genocide, when they're proven to have a level of military precision in urban warfare that's been unprecedented in the history of modern urban warfare. If he'll call that a genocide and smear it as that, when Israel has every right and duty to go in and get rid of Hamas, then quite frankly, nothing Israel does will be acceptable in his eyes. And his issue really is with the Jewish state existing, a sovereign Jewish state existing in the Jewish people's ancestral, God-given homeland. And by the way, it's very important to specify that the figures coming out of Gaza, we now have stronger evidence that we need to look at them in more detail, because the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry has come out and said that we actually need to revisit the data we have on about 30% of the death toll, death certificates, really, because it seems like there's some lacking of information. And so it may even be closer to 1-to-1 ratio that Israel has achieved in civilian to terrorist, even though, by the way, it's actually much more blurry when so many of the civilians may be aiding the Hamas fighters and certainly supporting them. We know the majority support what Hamas did on October 7th. So back to Bassem, the point is that we've got to stop taking this guy seriously. He's just trying to murky the waters in what is actually a very clear, straightforward situation. The Jewish people are in their indigenous, ancestral, God-given, international law affirming land. And they have always extended their arm out in peace and just done what they needed to do to defend themselves and their existence throughout their short history, having rebirthed as a nation in 1948. I think we should stop paying attention to this guy Bassem, because this interview exposed what his real agenda is. I'm Ollie Annisfeld and you're watching JTV. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to watch another one, click here. If you want to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest JTV content, click here. And if you're feeling really keen, you can click the join button down below underneath this video, where you can get perks including early access to new videos and private live discussions with me, where we can talk about JTV content and strategy moving forward, and I'll get to hear from you. Thanks again for watching.